windy city. As you can tell, we are the windiest metropolitan city in this country. Now, the World's Fair of 1893 was a massive success. All 250 buildings were built on the south side of our city in Jackson Park by the famous architect Daniel Burton. They were all white. That's how it got the nickname the White City. If you ever read the famous book, The Devil in the White City, about the World's Fair of 1893, all 250 buildings were lit up at night with electricity by Tesla. First time in human history that had ever happened. In the 6 months of the fair, from May 1st, 1893 to November 1st, 1893, 28 million people came to Chicago, half the population of the entire country at the time. They came to see the first ever Ferris wheel by the brilliant young bridge engineer George Ferris. That's what they called Ferris wheels. 300 feet tall. It was the tallest structure in the city at the time. Massive success. What else made its debut? Neon lights, Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, the washer and dryer, and even the zipper made its debut. Now, one building still remains from the World's Fair of 1893. It was way down in the south side of the city in Jackson Park. It is now the Museum of Science and Industry. We hosted another World's Fair 40 years later in 1933, the World Century of Progress Fair. Where was that World's Fair held? Well, if you've been to the Shedd Aquarium, Adler Planetarium, Soldier Field, and the Field Museum, all 4 of those structures were built for, featured in, and are still standing from the World's Fair of 1933. That's a lot of things, okay? You guys will do great on the quiz, to be honest. I promise you. That'd be horrible. It's so much. All right, get the cameras ready. Look to the left as we clear this Kennedy building. You do not want to miss this picture-taking opportunity. I call this the Instagram moment of the tour. I'm the only tour guide that does this because I'm the only tour guide young enough to understand what Instagram is. Everything on the north side of the river we talked about coming out. Everything on the south side of the river we'll talk about in just a bit. Look at the size of the merchandise, Mark. They do not build buildings like that anymore. Isn't that insane? Yeah. Amazing, amazing view. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, we got a lot more skyscrapers going up in the buildings besides these ones to our left. If you look to the right, we got 2 new skyscrapers going up. River Point, directly to our right, will be complete by the end of this year, 45 stories tall by Picard and Chilton. It's already LEED certified gold. I'm sure it'll earn that platinum rating. And look in front of the mountain to the right. You see how this building, it is skinnier at its base than it will be at its top. This is 150 North Riverside, excuse me. Built by the end of 2017, 52 stories tall by Getchen Partners. When I started the job a year ago, this building was just the concrete base, like 10 feet tall. It's blowing my friggin' mind every time I go by. Like how these skyscrapers are telling you they're going up so quickly. Welcome to the South Branch of the Chicago River, everyone. The North Branch was all residential, very quiet. The South Branch, this is where Chicago comes to work. This is the beating heart of the business district, the Loop of Chicago. The next 6 buildings we talk about on the right side of the boat are all built over the Amtrak and Metro train tracks that come into Chicago. How do you build a building over train tracks? It's all about strategically placed pillars. I'll show you that in just a bit. Look up and to the right, great granite building with a blue and silver glass. This is called 100 North Riverside, built in 1990 by Perkins and Will. But everyone in Chicago calls it the Boeing Building. You see the logo? This is the global office headquarters for Boeing Corporation. Now, to the right, look to the right. You see this wall at the base of the Boeing Building? That wall is non-load bearing. It's just there for show. It is hiding the trains and the train tracks underneath this building. Now, if you own a home in the United States, you own the air rights above your home. It means no one can build anything above your home without your permission. The railroad companies own the air rights above the rail. Boeing built a building over those air rights, so get this. Boeing is forced to pay Amtrak and Metro $1.3 million every single year just to lease the air they're building. I gotta tell you, that is the most American thing you can hear recorded. To the right, we're all about strong vertical lines, setbacks, and geometrical ornamentation. Built in 1928 by Halliburton Group, first building built over the train tracks, also home to Chicago's first public plaza. We hosted a ton of concerts and events there in the 1930s and 40s. Also home to one of our Wenella water taxi stops. Great way to get around the city. Use the water taxi much quicker than normal taxi. Next 4 buildings coming up on the right side of the boat are all built by that famous architecture firm Skidmore, Owings & Merritt. They are all cleverly named Gateway 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the buildings, I gotta be honest, they're not much to look at. But what's underneath them is fascinating. Get These buildings do not hide the train tracks. We're looking underneath Gateway 1, a 22-story tall steel and glass box, built in 1965 by Skidmore, Owings & Merrill, in that international less is more style of architecture. Look at the Metra train sitting underneath this building. You see all these strategically placed pillars? That's how we build a building on the train tracks. Every single one of those pillars is going all the way down to the bedrock here in Chicago, which is anywhere from 75 to 125 feet below the sea. It's then coming all the way up. They're all sticking on the ground. Once the pillars are all sticking on the ground, you go to your new ground floor. Once you have your new ground floor, you just build a building from the ground up like any other normal building. Underneath Gateway 2 to our right, identical to Gateway 1, was built 2 years later in '67. You gotta be saying to yourself, Mark, come on, be real. It's gotta be awful to work in these buildings, right? The noise, the vibrations, the diesel fumes, built in the '60s for crying out loud. These buildings to this day are 100% soundproof, 100% vibration proof. You may notice we're not smelling very many diesel fumes, even though the train's right there. These buildings have vents in their basement. They suck up the majority of the diesel fumes through the vents, filter them straight out to the top. 35-story tall white building is Gateway 3, built in '71 by the Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. Precast white limestone panels all along the outside to break up and not in the Gateway Center. The short X-race black building coming up on the right may not look important, but it is so brilliantly important. This little 5-story building that's a whole city block long was built by the brilliant engineer Dr. Fazler Khan with Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. These were trading floors for the Mercantile Exchange. Take yourself back to the '60s, before you did everything online. When you were trading, you had to see the hand signals from far away. So they didn't want internal supports to block your view. Dr. Fazler Khan gave them a 5-story building, a city block long, with 0 internal supports, and is completely supported by the X's on the outside. Isn't that brilliant? No respect for history now, though. It's home to a fitness center and a donut shop. You won, you both, I'm not judging anyone, okay? To the right, Gateway 4, the newest and the largest for Gateway Center. Look at the Amtrak train sitting underneath this building. Built in '83 by DeStefano when he was still with Skidmore, Owings & Merrill. He was asked, what's the decoration for your building? He said, I'm using the buildings across the river as the decoration. Have you guys seen The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger? Yeah. When he's the Joker, iconic Batman movie. You remember the opening scene with the Joker and his henchmen, they're robbing the bank? They were actually robbing the lobby of the former main Chicago post office coming up on the right. They filmed that scene inside there. This was the largest post office in the world from 1933 when it was built until the year 1996 when we abandoned it. 2.25 million square feet of space. Why did Chicago need such a massive friggin' post office? We had all the mail order catalog companies headquartered right here. Montgomery Ward, Marshall Field, JCPenney, Sears and Roebuck. You ordered anything from them, they were shipping it to you right through this massive post office. Now, we're about to go under the Congress Expressway, this highway. Look at it, it goes dead center through this building. The building was built in '33, the expressway was built in '57. How does that expressway go through it? This building is the best example of Daniel Burnham's 1909 plan. You're seeing the plan in action all around you. We hired the famous architect to lay out our city. We have followed his plan to a T to this day. Every new building was built in Chicago is still being built according to the dimensions of the 1909 plan for Daniel Burnham. Think about that. It's insane. In the plan, he called for a massive government building to have a roadway going through it. When they built the post office in '33, they left a giant hole in the center. They thought perfect. They had to wait 20 years until the Eisenhower administration gave them the funding. They built the roadway going through. That's what I like to call Plan to Manhattan. Now, the building sold at auction in 2011 to a British developer named Davies for only $22 million. All this space downtown Chicago, why so cheap? Now there's about $10 million of asbestos that needs to be carefully removed before you land. Also, the highway's not moving. So if you bought that and you want to build a skyscraper there, you have to let that highway go through the base of your skyscraper. Now, eminent domain is taking the building away from Davies. Why? Because he keeps proposing casinos. And we're like, dude, we don't want a massive casino on the south side of Chicago. No thank you, we have no problem, right? So eminent domain's taking the building. The city's hoping to do something with it real soon. Look to the right, the new post office. Really, what you gotta look for is the lobby, the green glass directly to our right. We went from the largest postal facility in the world to the most automated postal facility in the world in 1986. The lobby is stunning. It's a whole city block long. It's 2 stories tall. It's wrapped with that beautiful green glass. Go inside the lobby. There's real marble and granite everywhere. It's stunning. It's huge. My boss, Dr. Phil Skazowski, she's one of the foremost leading doctorates in architecture and history in the city. She took a private tour of this building with Mr. Knight when it opened, the head architect. She had the gall to ask him, straight up, Mr. Knight, why did you waste so much of the taxpayer money, it's a government building, taxpayer money, on the extravagant lobby of this post office? You know what he said to her, and I quote, as you know, most postal facilities, they operate in the red. They don't make much money, which is true. So in order to recoup some of the lost funds here in Chicago, we built a massive, stunning, huge lobby so it could be rented out for special events. Weddings, bar mitzvahs, etc. Brilliant, right? Except it's been rented 0 times in 20 years. Can you imagine being the guy trying to convince your fiance, honey, I can get us a sick deal in the lobby of the post office. We get married there? Yeah, you can honeymoon wherever you want. Yeah, that never goes down well. So, it is the best place in the country to wait in line for stamps, so I gotta tell you. Right? In front of the mountain to the left, if River City reminds you a lot of Marina City, the Corn Cob Towers, it should. It's the same architect, Bertrand Goldberg. He did this 20 years later, 1986. Remember, no writing as nature, no writing as an architecture. It's really an S-curve shaped building. He originally wanted 4 of these snaking up the river. Unfortunately, the city only gave him plans for 1, but this one changed the South Loop as we know it today. In the 80s, you did not want to come down here. This was Skid Row. This is bad, bad, bad. He was the first one to start redoing the South Loop. He built this building here. People thought he was crazy, but affluent people flocked to this building and forced city planners and developers overnight to really restart doing the South Loop. 3,000 condominiums were just proposed and just accepted, so they're going to start building here. Tons of adaptive reuse. In the next 5 years alone, 10 skyscrapers, 2 of them over 1,000 feet, happening in the South Loop. The boom is happening. It is the place for Chicagoans to want to move, to shop, to dine, to work, eat, to play. Everything's happening down the South Loop. River City got it started in the 80s. Look to the right. You see that radio antenna tower a quarter mile to our west on top of that short building? Why am I pointing that out? That is the exact location of Catherine O'Leary's barn. That's where the Great Chicago Fire started. It destroyed everything north and east of us for the next 6 miles. Why did we build a building on such a historic plot of land? That should be a museum. You can't make this stuff up, folks. That building is the brand spanking new Chicago Fire Training Academy. Yeah, we train our future firefighters to spot the Great Chicago Fire started. Isn't that insane? All right, I'm taking my only break of the tour now. You got about 3 minutes. Why? Well, if that doesn't make your Snapchat story, I mean, I don't know what is at this point. There you got the tallest building in Chicago, the former Sears, now the Willis. Take your pictures, grab a drink. Travis and Cynthia will be happy to help you downstairs. If you got any questions, come up and see me. I'd be happy to chat with you. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and fill your phones. That was a good.
I'm not gonna lie.